People love AOC. People love Jasmine Crockett. People love Eric Swalwell and the like. And I think that the Democratic Party should put the people out there who the people want. They should put the politicians out there who the people want, who they're asking for, who are meeting the moment with the same energy.
They're not asking for AOC.
Yes, they are.
The people you party with.
No. The people I party with don't like AOC.
Oh, please.
No, they don't at all.
Well, most people don't. But she's
AOC
very far left.
Let me tell you why I'm saying that.
One of my favorite interviews was when AOC was talking to that lady and she asked her to expand.
That Israel-Palestine?
Oh my God.
Well, I believe absolutely in Israel's right to exist.
She just collapsed into herself?
It's literally like a fifth grader that didn't study.
Look at that incident more through just as an incident.
Bill Maher didn't just critique AOC, he exposed her. On live TV with the nation watching, he calmly dismantled the myth of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and what followed was panic. Not just from her, but from the entire progressive media machine built to protect her. In minutes, her carefully crafted image of the fearless working-class fighter began to crack. And the moment Maher asked whether anyone actually wants AOC, the spin started fast. Don Lemon tried to clean up the mess, claimed the people were calling for AOC. But when Maher pushed back, even Lemon admitted his own friends don't like her. What started as a defense turned into a public unraveling, with AOC's allies contradicting themselves in real time. This wasn't just a disagreement, it was a detonation. And AOC, she's scrambling, throwing out buzzwords, dodging questions, and clinging to a brand that's starting to look more like performance than principle. But this was only the beginning, because the moment Maher exposed her, the rest of the cracks started showing.
Because people will vote for AOC and Donald Trump on the same ticket because they're authentic. No, because they're authentic.
Don,
I think you're wrong about that.
What people like about people like Trump and
That's
Fetterman
phony.
is because it's irrelevant to her life.
But you don't know her life.
I know that being a gorgeous woman who I wouldn't even know was Hispanic in a city that has 1 million Hispanics and does not treat them badly.
But that doesn't mean she doesn't struggle. That doesn't mean that she was set down.
It implies it.
But that doesn't mean that she was set down in Hispanic ghetto in the Bronx and had to deal with that growing up, and that she's come from a working class family.
It implies that it implies that in some way she's behind the 8 ball because of that, and it's just not true.
It started with a simple truth. Bill Maher said AOC doesn't represent what most Americans want. And instead of debating him with substance, her defenders imploded. Don Lemon, trying to rescue the narrative, claimed people were demanding leaders like AOC. But when Maher asked who, Lemon flinched, then weirdly admitted even his own friends don't like her. That awkward pivot wasn't just a slip, it was a signal. Even among liberals, the support for AOC isn't as deep as it looks. She's built a brand on noise, not nuance. And when Maher pushed back, the entire act began to crumble, because the second you question AOC's popularity or ideas, her allies retreat, doublespeak, or throw tantrums. There's no defense, just deflection. Maher's quiet takedown did what Twitter threads and think pieces couldn't. It revealed the truth behind the curtain. AOC isn't a rising star, she's a collapsing illusion. And what came next only made that clearer. Because the next time she spoke on a global issue, she collapsed faster than anyone expected. Nothing exposed AOC's hollow rhetoric more than that infamous moment on live TV, when she was asked a basic follow-up about the Israel-Palestine conflict. She started strong, bold voice, confident stance, classic AOC energy. "I believe in Israel's right to exist," she said. But the second the interviewer pressed her, "What do you mean by occupation?" it all fell apart. Her words stalled. Her eyes darted. Then came the confession, "I'm not the expert." It was like watching a student fake their way through a book report they didn't read. She threw out vague buzzwords, two-state solution, human rights, geopolitics, but couldn't explain any of it. The confidence evaporated, replaced by shaky uncertainty. And this wasn't a fluke. It's a pattern. AOC thrives in echo chambers where no one challenges her. But the moment real questions hit, she folds. Fast. For someone who claims to lead on foreign policy and justice, she couldn't even define her own position. And once again, her critics weren't attacking her. They were watching her self-destruct. But her next meltdown, it didn't happen on global policy. It happened right inside the Capitol, where AOC's defense of another scandal only made things worse. When Representative Jamal Bowman pulled a fire alarm in the Capitol during a crucial vote, chaos erupted, and AOC rushed in to defend him, but instead of clearing the air, she set it on fire. On camera, AOC began one of her classic spirals. He's fully participating in saying it was a misunderstanding. Wait, what? The sentence didn't make sense. Her tone was shaky. She looked and sounded like someone trying to bluff their way through a PR disaster with a broken teleprompter. The more she spoke, the worse it got. Phrases like vote clock going down, closed exits, and U.S. Capitol Police thrown together like a panicked word salad. This wasn't leadership. It was meltdown. Viewers were baffled. Even supporters began questioning what she was trying to say. Was she covering for a colleague, making it up as she went, or both? AOC's defense of Bowman revealed more than just sloppy messaging. It showed how quickly she crumbles when forced to improvise. When the script's gone, so is the confidence. And when the public sees that, the trust starts to erode. But that wasn't the only time she hid behind buzzwords. In fact, her entire image, the working-class fighter, the champion of the people, is built on a story that's starting to fall apart too. AOC loves to remind the world that she was once a bartender, a working-class woman who clawed her way into Congress. It's a powerful origin story. Problem is, it's mostly PR. Bill Maher wasn't afraid to call it out. Despite her speeches about struggling in the Bronx, AOC actually grew up in a well-off suburb, went to good schools, and had access to opportunities most Americans don't. So while she rails against the elites, she's rubbing shoulders with them at the Met Gala, wrapped in designer gowns worth more than some Americans make in a month. That's not authenticity, that's costume. And it gets worse. She talks about income inequality on camera, then walks red carpets off camera. She slams billionaires by day and parties with them by night. It's political cosplay, radical in the streets, VIP in the suites. Bill Maher's criticism struck a nerve because it shattered the illusion. AOC built her brand on being one of us, but her lifestyle tells a different story. And once people see that disconnect, it's hard to unsee it. Because if your entire message is rooted in struggle, but your reality is privilege, you're not a fighter, you're a performer. And her performances, they're starting to unravel in real time. AOC speaks with fire, passionate, emotional, dramatic. But listen closely, and the fire's mostly smoke. One of her most outrageous recent claims, that banning biological males from women's sports would lead to genital inspections of little girls. Yes, really. It wasn't just wrong. It was inflammatory, exaggerated, and deliberately misleading. There's no serious policy proposing anything of the sort. But that didn't stop her from screaming it into the record like it was gospel. Why? Because outrage gets clicks. Emotion dominates headlines. But here's the problem. Her theatrics have no anchor, no facts, no logic. Just buzzwords like systemic injustice, intersectionality, and marginalized voices tossed around like glitter. The more she talks, the more people realize she's not informing, she's performing. And that performance is falling flat. AOC built her career on viral speeches and quotable rants. But voters are starting to notice a pattern. When pressed, she dodges. When questioned, she collapses. When challenged, she cries, "Oppression!" At first, her rage felt righteous. Now, it feels rehearsed. But the most telling sign of decline, even her supporters are backing away. You know things are bad when even your defenders start dodging. Don Lemon, once one of AOC's most vocal cheerleaders, found himself cornered in a debate with Bill Maher. At first, he doubled down. People love AOC. But the moment Maher asked who, Lemon backtracked like his career depended on it. Well, the people I party with don't like her either. Wait, what? It was an instant walkback, a full retreat from the narrative. And it wasn't just awkward, it was revealing. Because when even loyal media figures start distancing themselves, it's not about loyalty, it's about self-preservation. The illusion of universal love for AOC is fading fast. Her base, once rock solid, is quietly stepping back. Why? Because they see the shift. The buzzwords aren't landing. The theatrics are tired. The contradictions are piling up. She's less voice of the people and more brand with a script. Even Don Lemon, who spent years defending the far left, couldn't sell it anymore. And when the echo chamber starts to collapse, so does the myth it was built to protect. Because what Maher exposed wasn't just her politics, it was the entire machine propping her up. This wasn't some spicy cable segment or political disagreement. Bill Maher pulled the plug on the AOC illusion, live, unscripted, and devastatingly calm. He didn't shout, he didn't mock, he simply questioned the image. And suddenly, the whole thing started collapsing. AOC's carefully manufactured persona, the working-class warrior, the intellectual voice of the left, the fearless activist, started looking like exactly what it was: a performance. The contradictions, the confusion, the buzzword-laced deflections, it's all theater. And now, the mask is slipping. What Maher exposed isn't just about AOC. It's about the way we reward style over substance, optics over honesty. She's not a symbol of the future. She's a cautionary tale about what happens when branding replaces backbone. The panic we're watching now, it's not just hers. It belongs to the entire media political machine that built her. And they know the truth is catching up, because when someone like Maher says what everyone else is thinking and does it without fear, there's nowhere left to hide. If you felt the mask slipping, hit like, smash subscribe, and ring the bell, because we're just getting started. AOC wasn't exposed by a scandal, but by a simple question, and the collapse was instant. The media built the brand, but now they're scrambling to distance themselves. Why? Because the script is falling apart. No more buzzwords, no more theatrics, just raw truth. And around here, we don't flinch. We dig deeper, we call the bluff, and we say what the echo chamber won't. Stick with American Fallout, where the illusion ends and the reckoning begins.